Alright, we are back with another episode of our revival series of video game reviews. You'll have to bear with me as I try to get through this because I'm still a little bit under the weather here. But for this episode, we're going to be going back to the Nintendo Switch platform and discussing a game that just recently came out a little over a week ago, and as you can see in front of you, that game is Super Mario Party Jamboree. And as you can tell by the red banner here at the bottom of the case, it includes a 3-month individual membership for Nintendo Switch Online, and which not only applies to the physical copies of this game, but also the digital copies of this game now. Email the code that I got for purchasing this physical copy. That is still in the case. I'm obviously not going to reveal what that code is because of, well, for privacy reasons. But anyways, let's get on with this here. So, first off, this game is loads better than the other Mario Parties that released on Switch before this. Those, of course, being Super Mario Party and Mario Party Superstars. Like, content-wise and gameplay-wise, this game is leaps and bounds better than Mario Party Superstars. I mean, you have 7 boards in this game. 7. That's the most amount of boards that we've gotten in any Mario Party game in quite a while. There's also a lot of other different modes that you can do too, and I'll go over those soon. But first, let's go over all the different boards you can play on in this game. So to start off, you have Mega Wiggler's Tree Party, which is a very simple board, like pretty much your beginner board for Mario Party, and where you have a giant Wiggler in the middle, and of course ringing the bell will make you change directions. So, pretty standard board. Then you've got Roll Raceway, which right now is probably one of my favorite maps in this game. Mainly because it blends both two of my favorite franchises together. Those being Mario Kart and Mario Party. So, yeah, basically think Mario Kart, but as a Mario Party board. That is how great the board is. Then we have Goomba Lagoon, which is a island themed board, and where of course the gimmick to watch out for on that one is the changing of the tides, which happen every 2 turns, or you can do it yourself with a special item known as the conch shell. And then, of course, there's the explosions that happen from the volcano each time you pass it. It can either be golden Goombas, which will give you 5 coins every time you pass them, or the Pootaboos, which each time you pass those, you'll lose a few coins, so you do have to be careful about that. And then, of course, you have Rainbow Galleria, which is a gigantic shopping mall. So, think of that board as basically like Coconut Mall, but in Mario Party form. Because that is just how awesome that is. And, yeah, like, Rainbow Galleria, it is so easy, like, to explore in there and get yourself lost and all kinds of other stuff. So, yeah. That is just how awesome that board is. Now, of course, the main idea with that one, of course, is to try to get the stamps. So try to get stamps throughout the mall. And of course, for each stamp you collect, you can earn more coins when you turn them in at the start. One stamp, of course, is One stamp, of course, is 10 coins, 2 stamps is 20, 3 stamps is 30, and all 4 gets you 50. So that is a pretty neat feature with that board. There, of course, is also your standard Boo on there, as well as other standard gimmicks on there, with basically a lot of Mario Party type shenanigans you'd expect. And then, of course, we've got King Bowser's Keep, which is the Bowser board on the map. And, yeah. I mean, this might honestly probably be the best Bowser map in that entire series. Because, yeah. And from what I've found from playing on this board, online with a few people, Bowser pretty much makes his own rules on the board. And case in point, where I was doing an online match with Nick, well, as of the time I'm recording this, would have been last night, where we were playing for 10 turns, and Lose a Star showed up on the Bowser roulette on turn 3. Normally, that is not supposed to happen on any Bowser roulette until you're halfway through the game. Which, in the case of a 10-turn game, would be on turn 6. But nope, it was there on turn 3. So, which pretty much tells you that, on the Bowser board, he can just make up whatever rules he wants. And not only that, he can also cancel the Bowser roulette on that board as well. And just automatically make you lose a star, which is kind of somewhat threatening, not gonna lie. But the fact that he can merely just, be like, nah, screw the roulette, you're giving me a star. Yeah. But the one cool thing about that board is it has a little vault in there which has all the coins in there that Bowser collects, and if you can solve the vault correctly, then you'll earn all the stars and money that is in there. I don't think I've seen anybody crack the vault yet. At least from the people I've played with online, I don't think I've seen any of them crack the vault yet, but it'll be pretty exciting when one of us does do it. Alright, so that's it for the 5 new boards that are in the game. Now, we'll talk about the 2 retro boards. The first of them being Mario's Rainbow Castle from Mario Party 1, which is a classic board, basically the same gimmick as the original board. Really, the only difference, though, is that if you get to Bowser at the end, well, he'll still give you a sitar like he did in the original game, but instead of losing 40, you'll lose 20. So, a significant change from the original board, although, to be fair, if you have an ally with you when you get to Bowser at the end, then the original punishment from Mario Party 1 will apply and you'll lose 40. Because remember, when you have the ally with you, then it's pretty much doubled in both positive and negative ways. And of course, there's item shops on here now, which means you can move around the board a lot faster than you could in Mario Party 1. So that's a huge plus. And then, of course, you have Western Land from Mario Party 2. And, yeah, not really much to go over with that board, since it pretty much plays out more or less the same as it did on Mario Party 2. There is one change, though, that we did discover with the Hootenanny, which is, well, obviously this change doesn't apply if you invite all, because it'll just invite everybody. But if you invite one, it'll just invite one person randomly. You don't get to pick. So yeah, so that's it for all the boards. Now, let's talk about some of the different modes. There's Bowser's Kaboom Squad, where you go around that one with several other human players, or if you're playing by yourself, you play with AI and you try to take down Imposter Bowser. And it's a pretty good mode. I just kind of wish there were more than just 3 levels for Imposter Bowser. But beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. It's still a really fun mode, though. And then, of course, you also have the Koopathlon, which is pretty much a race. You want to try to get as many coins as possible and get to the finish line before the other players. And of course, whoever completes the set number of laps in the fastest amount of time is the winner. And unlike the Bowser's Kaboom Squad, there's several different mini games you can do on there. There's Noggin Knock. There's a whole bunch of other really good ones. There's even one that kind of resembles a claw machine. But then, of course, there is also an Imposter Bowser mini game after you go through all of the regular mini games in that set for that play. So yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. Now, of course, in that mode, you can have up to several other people joining you. The rest automatically get filled with AIs, but of course, if you're playing that by yourself, then all of it's AIs. And then, of course, let's see, what else do we have? There's Minigame Bay, which is pretty much Minigame Island. You can do, daily challenges. You can, practice, for minigames, if you're not good at some of them. So, yeah, it's, a great way to get practice for the minigames. And then, of course, there is Rhythm Kitchen, which is basically all rhythm-focused minigames. It's basically a reskin of one of the modes from Super Mario Party, where you basically have to have perfect timing. And yeah, there's also Paratroopa Flight School, which I have not tried yet, so I can't really say anything about that. And then there's also Motion Island, which is, I think, just for motion control specific things. Again, I have not tried that, nor do I plan to, so I can't really vouch for that. But anyway, now, I haven't even talked about the mini games yet, so let's get to those. There are a lot of mini games in this game, and when I mean a lot, I mean there's 112. Now, a lot of them, thankfully, can be played with a Pro Controller. Not like in the Super Mario Party, where you were basically forced to use the Joy-Cons. Now, thankfully, Joy-Con usage in this game is optional. No, you don't have to use the Joy-Cons if you don't want to. But, keep in mind, though, that when you play online, then I think the motion minigames are pretty much disabled. Actually, no, they do give an option to turn them on. But I kind of prefer to play with them off. I mean, I did try some of the motion minigames. They're okay, but I would still kind of rather use the Pro Controller. And there's nothing wrong with that, but for what I've heard, using the Pro Controller only gives you access to maybe about 50 or so mini games during regular Mario Party, which is kind of unfortunate, but it happens. And there's also what you call Jamboree Buddies. Now, 10 or so of the characters are designated as Jamboree Buddies, like Daisy, Wario, Luigi, etc. And each has their own specific mini games, which means their own specific challenges. that you do in order to try to get them as allies. So, like for example, like for Daisy's minigame, like you do a series of Fall Guys-esque challenges to try to get the most medals. For Waluigi, it's pinball, and who doesn't love pinball? And then of course for Wario, it's a game show type setting, and me being a game show nut, that is kind of one of my favorite Jamboree Buddy minigames. I was not gonna lie about that one. So, of course, whoever wins that minigame gets the ally, but that doesn't necessarily mean you get to keep it, because if other people pass you on the board, they can steal that ally from right under your nose. So, yeah, that's something you do want to be careful about. And I would say for the most part, some of the Jamboree Buddy minigames are pretty good. The Rosalina one, though, is a bit questionable, to say the least, because that one apparently requires motion control, and yeah. Thankfully, though, Rosalina's minigame, I believe, is the only one that requires motion controls. So, at least that's somewhat of a plus. But yeah, like I'm not gonna play favorites over which Jamboree Buddy minigame I think is the best or whatever. I mean, I'm entitled to my own opinion, and I'm sure you guys also are entitled to your own opinions as well. So yeah. And then of course there's also the story mode, which is known as Party Planner Trek. It's basically it's basically Mario Party Advance, but it is done a lot better. And this is where the mini stars are actually useful. So, yes, mini stars are back from Mario Party 9, but at least it's limited to just the single player mode in this one. So, I guess that's a good thing. And now you do not go through the retro boards in the single player mode. In this one, you just go through all the new boards. So, yeah, definitely pretty exciting stuff. And, yeah. So, now what I did not mention, though, is that there are things to unlock. Now, Western Land, Mars Rainbow Castle, King Bowser's Keep, all three of those boards I talked about earlier, those are not available to you right out of the gate. You have to unlock them. Now, when it comes to King Bowser's Keep, there's two ways that they can be unlocked. Getting to the appropriate level on your pass, or by completing the story mode. Now, there's also... unlocking Pauline and Ninja is also supposed to be tied to a certain rank on the pass, but you can actually unlock them right when you first boot up the game. That was what I did, so that way I would have all the characters available to me, and yeah. So to pretty much recap, this game is a lot better than both of the previous two Mario Party games on the Switch. In fact, I know for a good while, Mario Party Superstars was pretty much my go-to Mario Party game during the time that was relevant, but I think this one here might pretty much be that go-to Mario Party game now. It is just so good. So much content, so much replayability. Yeah, you cannot go wrong with this game, folks. I am giving this game a perfect 10 out of 10. Yeah, that is how awesome this game is. And so with that, I think that is going to put a wrap on this episode of Video Game Reviews. I know this was pretty much double the normal length that I usually do for these, but then again, there's just so much about this game that I had to talk about, so you can kind of understand why this is the case, or at least I hope you can understand why this is the case. Anyways, I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.